right. I call to order the City of Travelers Rest Council Committee meeting for Monday, June the 19th. It's nice to have you all here. We appreciate you being here on a Monday night, and thank you for the rescheduling for tonight. So first we have our Personnel Committee. Chair Chris is not here tonight, and so I will take over her committee and introduce our members. We have Catherine James, Grant Baumgartner, Sherry Mara, and Kelly Byers. And first, we have our approval of addendum to the employee handbook grievance policy. And if I can get a motion for that, and then a second, and I'll give you a brief description.
Motion to approve.
Okay,
Second.
Okay, second. Catherine, thank you. The grievance policy has been updated to provide a clear process for employees to raise concerns and have them addressed. These changes help ensure grievances are reviewed in a timely manner, documented appropriately, and worked through fairly at each step of the process. The policy was written by our human resources representative at Find Great People and has been vetted and is in line with industry standards. Shannon, you want to give us any update there? I assume this is related to our certification.
Thank you, Mayor Amadon. Yes, in fact, we shortly will have an entire employee handbook review that's been done by an employee committee, but we're not ready to put that full project in front of you. However, Chief Ford and his team have been vehemently pursuing accreditation, and one of the components that we need to do to get in alignment for him immediately is our grievance policy.
Right.
So this is just a slightly modernization, and then also the review. I make a recommendation to you for employees to sit on that committee. They rotate on a 2-year rotation. We'll stagger it from the beginning. So the first couple, and it's noted in your in the presentation, the first couple will rotate off after about 1.5 years, and the second couple will be just slightly over 2 years. But then we'll come on a natural boards and commissions review policy with you guys, or schedule with you guys.
So again, this is for if an employee has a grievance, then there's an internal committee that can go through them. Okay.
That's right.
Great. Does anyone have any questions? Motion to approve or to send to council?
To send to council.
All right, motion to send to council?
Second.
Okay, I'm sorry, I already got a motion. All in favor? For committee, thank you. Thanks, Catherine. Okay. And next we have approval of the employee grievance. These are our committee members, and I believe those are in our packet and are listed. I have a motion, the listed appointees to the grievance board will typically serve for, a motion to approve the new employee grievance committee members. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second from Grant. Let me give a brief description. The listed appointees to the grievance board will typically serve for a staggered 2-year terms, as Shannon was mentioning. For this first year, half of the appointees will serve a shorter term and some longer to set us up for the 2-year terms. The appointees represent employees from all areas of the city. Going forward, the appointees will come before council for approval with our board, December boards and commissions. Okay, great. So every year we'll just redo this over again. Awesome. Any further questions?
I don't have any issues with anyone who's serving. I'm just curious how they were selected this time.
Great question, Councilmember Byers. We asked each department head to reach into their team by numbers. It made sense for police and fire to have 2 representatives each on there, and then each other department 1 representative. And then they spoke with their appointee and got a commitment to serve in this capacity, and then recommended forward to me.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor on the committee? And carries. Thank you for that. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, second by Kelly. Thank you very much. Public Works Committee, Chair Lane.
I open the Public Works Committee. Present are myself, Grant Baumgartner, and Sherry Mara. Do I have a motion to approve the May 11th, 2026 Public Works Committee minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor? Director Tate, got a lot going on.
Oh, yes. A lot of moving pieces here. We are starting to check some boxes. The fitness court, the poured-in-place rubberized surface has been completed. I will follow up with the contractor in the morning to make sure that we can start promoting this, but it is complete. Very unique place over there on Center Street there to work out. We ran a glass recycling event June 7th, just kind of give you an update on that. We moved it over to Gateway Park, and it seemed to go very well over there. We had about 60 cars, which we kind of expected that, due to the timing of the ones we've had most recently. There was around 60 cars came through, and we collected about 3,500 pounds of glass. So that was a very successful event over there. We do have the one scheduled for 26, 27, and they will be September, December of 26, and then March and June of 27. And we'll get those dates out to you and start promoting those dates as well. The diagonal crossing at McElhaney, the pavers are almost complete on the McElhaney side. All the infrastructure's in for the signaling there. DOT, from my understanding, will be on site this week to kind of stripe that out. So hopefully, maybe by the early part of next week, we'll see some completion up there as well. The red light at Tubbs Mountain and North Poinsett, the contractor was on site today there, so hopefully that'll be up and running in the next couple of weeks. Any questions from anyone? Anybody have anything?
Philip, I was going to ask you, the crosswalk from Pine Stone that's going to happen, have we had a conversation on the cut through the grass area on the trail side?
You're talking about the one on Main Street, the
Correct,
crosswalk?
yes, yes.
We have not. That crosswalk is going to get bumped down towards Loftus Printing from where it is now. It's going to go down, and I guess your question is, it going to connect to the trail there? Is that?
Well, it's a curbing now, right? And
Yes.
So have we discussed how that's going to happen as far as a cut through?
I haven't seen the plans recently on that, but there will be a connection over to the trail from my understanding. It will connect over
It's
to the
right
trail,
there.
and the curbing will be cut to where they
Okay.
can go over to the trail.
Councilmember Mara, it would have to be cut in order to hit ADA compliance.
Right, yeah.
And to add one other thing, we did install some new sidewalks on Benton Road from Little Texas down to the CVS drive-in there. We had some skips over there, so we added that section, and we also tied the Zaxby's in back to the gas station there. And we're just having to work through some logistics of removing the shrubs there at the gas station and continuing the sidewalk through there. That's going to determine what infrastructure is under those shrubs there. That'll be the driving factor on that.
Are we going to be able to keep the trucks off of it as they turn around that roundabout right there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to be, it matches the one on the opposite side, on the Walmart side. So it's actually turned in and kind of tucked away. And I think that's a good thing for us there. It doesn't go all the way out to the corner where they reach their radius.
The Poinsett project, how much longer for the lane closures? Is that going to be until the end of the project's done this summer, or will that kind of fade away?
Probably now, it's probably about 7 weeks. The prediction was 7 to 8 weeks out. The demo there is going very well from the conversation I've been in. I've visited the businesses there on several occasions on both sides of the Poinsett there. And I think it's going as well as it can, but they are moving pretty quickly on that.
And then I know we're getting a lot of complaints about the recycle bins and trash being put out. What dates are I know we've said this in the past, but can you just remind us again on what days of the week that they are emptied for people to know?
They're emptied every day, Monday through Friday. The county also has someone that's assigned to pick up the litter and the trash every day at those sites. I did have a conversation with them early last week.
Does anyone on council have any questions?
I've got a couple questions about, I saw that we do have a couple park cameras that were damaged.
That is correct. Over at Gateway, we had some damage back, I guess it was early May. We were able to get the footage over to the police department, and they were able to identify some suspects there, and they were charged with vandalism. They hit the camera and gutter, and it has been recommended that they do some community service with us.
Do we have any plans in place to make sure that that is less likely to happen in the future? I mean, do we need to replace some higher or something along those lines? Just
Wait.
asking.
That would possibly be in the long-range plans, but I will say, since we have installed the cameras at the parks, and I maybe or may or may not should bring this statement out because I don't want to jinx us, but the vandalism has, that part of the vandalism has decreased.
Do we have anything out that says that we have cameras in place?
There is signs on,
Okay.
on those that you
Okay.
are under video surveillance.
Got to be helping them. Great.
Yep. And it
Councilmember
was-
Baumgartner, if you don't mind, I'm going to interject here because we've had a significant amount of conversation about these. They are a live feed. So when they are damaged, we are seeing who's damaging them. It's not a smart idea. Showing up at the school and identifying the folks who are on the camera and calling them out is probably the best deterrent we could have to vandalizing these camera systems. But we will catch them when they damage them, and we will go and let them know, and we will go through the procedures appropriately. So I expect to see that diminish in frequency.
That makes a whole lot of sense with a little bit of time and a little bit of word getting out there. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
And
No-
that's exactly how they were identified.
Good. Another quick question. I know that, am I correct that in remembering that we are in the end stages of our septic tank pump out program, meaning we still just have a few years actually left in that, correct?
That is correct, sir. The sunset of that program is March of 2029.
And I see this month we did not have any pump outs, so do you have any idea how many pump outs that we have had this year so far?
Probably, we have, this year was increased. I'm gonna say probably 15 to 20 would be that number, this year. And that would run from last July 1st until the closing of the fiscal year here, the end of June.
Okay, so the program actually runs fiscal year, not calendar year.
Yes, that is correct. That's
So-
how we are tallying that.
I'm also surmising because the program is going to sunset, that the people that are being pumped right now are not eligible for a repumping before this program sunsets.
Anything that was pumped after March of 2026 will not be eligible for another pump because of the 36-month window there that's in that.
Are those people being notified, not notified, being made aware of that this is their final pumping?
They have been made aware of that with a verbal, comment. We will be planning to send out some notifications to those that would be eligible down the road for those pumps.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I know that that's a program that's been extended out here for a while that will be ending. I just want residents that may have septic to realize that that will be ending. Do you have any idea how many actual residences are eligible for that? I mean, that are even on that program?
The list is somewhere between 40 and 45. I don't have an exact number, but I'll be glad to put a summary together for, if you would like that for maybe next month, or just so y'all could have that number in front of you.
I don't need it. I was just simply curious.
What Grant means to say is, as long as Harvey Choplin is okay, that's all that matters.
No, it's not. No, that's not. It's Harvey Choplin and a gentleman by the name of Wayne.
Oh, okay, we know them. Yeah.
Paul is the last name.
I'll pay for their pump outs for both of them forever. Just sign me up.
That's all my questions.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I had a couple, Philip, for the merry-go-round, how's that looking for the replacement part for Trailblazer Park?
We are working with Compound, which was the manufacturer of that. The contractor came through them. They are working. It is a warranty issue, and that has reflected on the rubberized surface out there. Some damage to that as well, and all that's under the same umbrella. I just talked to them Friday
Oh, great.
in reference to that, and they're waiting to hear back from the actual company that manufactured
I
those.
think that's one of the biggest
It is.
fun spots. So I have a bunch of moms that are like, when is this
Yep,
gonna get
yep,
fixed?
yep.
Do you know for Highway 25 and DOT, what are they doing for the median? And sorry if I missed it.
No, that's fine. They're actually they installed the light that will sync with the light at 25 and Hawkins. They installed a light southbound to stop the traffic so that North Poinsett traffic could enter into 25
Okay, got you, yeah.
without it just being a yield there and kind of a free-for-all. They're controlling the traffic there, but they're also extending the acceleration lane up through the median, and that's what the work that you
Okay,
see
yeah.
going on
I don't
out
think I
there now.
registered that was the extension of the median in there.
Yes,
Okay,
that
great,
is
great.
correct. When you come out from Poinsett, North Poinsett to go 25 north, there will be an acceleration lane to kind of help you get up to speed to merge in
Okay, great.
a little north there.
It feels like every,
It won't be nearly as needed if the traffic is stopped prior to that, but anybody that's
correct.
turning right
The
from that
safety.
Turning
corner
right,
will
that's
shoot,
right.
But it won't be as near.
thank you.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Philip?
Thank you, Philip.
All right, Public Safety Committee Chair Byers.
I call to order the Public Safety Committee meeting for June 15th. Present are myself, Lisa Lane, Cheryl Garniero, and John Campbell. Do we have a motion to approve the May 11th Public Safety minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, Chief Ford?
Good afternoon, everyone. The report that we have this month is provided for you. Nothing specific I wanted to mention on the report. Can I answer any questions about that?
Does anybody on the committee have questions about the report? I have one, and I think it's probably a typo. So in the criminal offense reported year to date, oh, I see, year to date. I was like, do we already have more total calls than last year combined? But I see I misread that, so just ignore me. Okay, does anyone else have
Not
have
a problem.
questions?
Not a problem at all. Anything I would like to bring up a couple of cases from last month that the investigations worked and patrol worked. One was a criminal sexual conduct and incest case involving a suspect here. There was some follow-up to that case, and they're looking for a 25-year plea offer on that case. So pretty serious crime that occurred in the city. We had another tip on a stolen motorcycle that led us to jump pretty quickly, make a traffic stop, got some drugs off of that. So that was coming through the city. Someone was trying to unload here. So that was a nice case that patrol was able to handle during the month of May, and had assault and battery with threatened use of a knife at one of the businesses in town where there was someone working. They felt threatened by the person with the knife. There was an altercation. No one got hurt, but the threat was there. We were able to solve that case and get that person in custody. So just a few things that happened around in May, but all worked out well. So we are very close to accreditation. And I think Shannon may mention more about that, but we're getting there. We're closer than we've ever been. We're excited. Shannon and I are both excited. So more news coming soon on that.
Thank you. Does anybody on council have questions for Chief Ford? Okay, that was easy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
We'll get the microphone a little closer tonight. I'm usually really short, but I'm going to be a little longer tonight. First off, so anybody have anything?
We can't hear you.
Oh, wonder why. Hello. Yeah. I'm better? Okay. Usually I'm pretty short, but I'm going to be a little long-winded tonight. I want to give you a quick update on our pumper. I got a whole long thing here to read. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. But in September 2023, we ordered a pumper from KME Corporation. It was spec'd by our department, went through the whole process of the funding for it. Everything was done. There's been delays after delays after delays for this. There's been at least 3 delays and another one that was just like in May. They weren't going to be able to start the truck till October. We're almost 4 years into it now, which would put it, hopefully, if it started in October, maybe by April of next year before we ever got it, which caused some problems with the financing part and all that because those dates were set up. Things have to be changed. So we started looking at other ways to do this, and put a team together of some of my most experienced guys, I guess, and some of the younger guys had some input too, but our most experienced guys, and started looking. The Rev Group, which is a fire truck manufacturer, they have about 3 different companies that they deal with. They had a stock truck that's come off the line. It's actually in Anderson in the Piedmont. Their apparatus storage down there. With a little bit of upfits. It's a brand new truck. It's a 2026. It's just come off the line. And I'm not going to go into how they actually do those, but it's a whole process to get stock trucks. But basically, it's sitting in Piedmont with some upgrades, and a paint scheme has to be changed a little bit on it and all that. It will more than fit our needs. And the good thing about it is, even though it's 4 years down the line, we're going to come in under budget. So what it has afforded us to do is to look into some equipment that wasn't necessarily on our list before, but in the fire service, equipment changes quickly. But I also like to look at proven equipment. So the equipment that we're looking at to go on it will fit into that budget is proven equipment. And with a little bit of luck, it'll be here probably by the end of September. So that'll put us in our timeline with as far as our budget stuff and all that. It'll put us in under budget, and we'll have a truck that's it's not a wish list truck. It's what we need, and it'll, it's not we're not stepping down and saying, hey, we had this truck and we're going to settle for this truck. No, it's the guys have seen it that brought it up here. They've driven it. They've, looked it over. We come up with what we needed, and they've taken care of that. So if I get any questions about it, I'm just trying to be as transparent as I can be. It's a lot of money for the city to spend on a fire truck. So I want us to get the most for our money, but, be as transparent as we can be about what's going on with it.
Was that Greg's last truck, if I remember
Yes,
right?
absolutely. If he's watching, he already knows.
I'm just remembering is all, Greg.
You already broke his heart. Is
Yeah,
that
I've
what you're
already broke
saying?
his heart. Yeah, I've already broke his heart.
So maybe this is a Shannon question. Can you explain a little bit more about how this affects our finances?
Councilmember Byers, thank you for that question. So we purchased the fire truck with a capital lease, also called a master lease. You guys approved that in the past budget, last year's budget that we're wrapping up now. That typically has an 18-month spend time. We do accumulate interest on that funding, so we are required to spend it at a certain point, so we're not making money off of that. We have sat with the Bank of Travelers Rest. They are extremely accommodating to the city to make sure that we understand all the parameters and ins and outs of this. We did finance that with a 15-year amortization. Obviously, with the savings that come in, that funding is available for council to reassign for additional capital equipment when we know what that number is and when we know what the appropriate capital equipment to bring to you outside of the equipment needed to stock the truck, which is what Chief McMakin was just speaking about. We'll bring you that list for approval, and then what we will do is in next year's budget, not this current year that we're in, but the year after that, we'll just do an amendment with our pay schedule to amortize appropriate, or to pay out so that we pay off appropriately in a time schedule. So let's say, I'm just going to make something up. Let's say we were to buy a vehicle with that additional savings. We wouldn't want to amortize any vehicle 15 years. It would likely be a 5-year. So we'll bring you an increase in payments so that we pay that off in 5 years and don't run that amortization beyond the life of the equipment, which is just good financing. But by finding a truck, in a stock form, as Chief did, we're able to stay in our time period, no problem, to expend the funds and then actually release a little bit of additional funds for us to consider citywide how we need to use those. So much congratulations and appreciation to the fire department.
All of them, because I think they were all involved throughout this. And in addition, on the finance side, any changes that you're talking about right now wouldn't occur until next year's budget anyway, until once we see exactly where we land with this anyhow.
That's correct, and they don't need to occur quickly. So we can make the payments this year and then figure out whatever we would purchase. You could also make an amendment to the amortization schedule when you approve the new capital projects to go in there.
For our guest, if I could try to sum this up. So there is a national stock shortage for fire trucks. It was on CNN, and I think they even went to Congress and were taught, what are there, 2 or 3 manufacturers of fire trucks?
Well, there's a number of manufacturers, but yeah, there was about 4 manufacturers that actually called before Congress because of the delays in trucks. I mean,
Right.
nowadays, a truck that used to take us a year and a half to get, we could get in 4 years, maybe.
Right. And we're not the only ones.
No, we're not the only
Yeah.
one. This is a national shortage of
So for our
equipment.
guests and for constituents, we have a fire department that was being smart and thinking of other alternatives because we do need this fire truck. Found the stock truck. It does fit our needs, maybe a little bit
Absolutely.
more. We can customize it to us. And we have maybe a little bit money that we can put towards other capital improvements.
We
So
hope so.
coming under budget. I feel like that sounds like a win-win to me, so, but it's good.
And in addition to that, let me say that thank you actually to the company that is, we're not the manufacturer, but the company that we are purchasing this from has
Oh, they've been over
stepped
backward
up
to help.
to do what
Yeah.
they need to do to
Yes.
help us in this situation also.
Almost a
So
daily conversation.
Gratitude
right
to
now.
them for that also, and for you for working so hard with them in this.
And this is retiring a pumper truck, is that correct, and replacing it?
We will be looking at retiring a pumper truck, absolutely. That's kind of in the back right now because we need this one in place before we would actually
Right.
retire that one. And we've already talked with our, the company that actually does our service and stuff like that, and always which is the best truck to keep and which is the best one to get rid of as far as maintenance cost and all that kind of stuff. We analyze all that stuff anyway, but which would be the best truck to get rid of and which one to keep. So we'll look at that as soon as we see a new one sitting in the bay.
Is there any penalty or fee that we have to pay to cancel the original contract?
Absolutely not. No, we're actually doing a change order is the way we're doing it. So we bypass having to do all that kind of stuff, so.
Which also means they're not actually canceling the truck. They're going to continue to build the truck on out and just put
Actually,
it in
what
their
they will
inventory.
build, what they will do is they will put another stock truck in line because it doesn't matter when that truck comes off. It'll just flow through their system. And another thing too, just so it is transparent, a lot of times what happens with these trucks is you have bigger cities where it's a big deal for Travelers Rest to buy a fire truck, absolutely. But you have bigger cities that buy 15 trucks at a time or 20 trucks at a time or whatever, so they do get pushed to the front. It's just, I mean, it is what it is when it comes to that, so. Our
Does
truck's
any-
just as important to us, but in the equipment world, I don't know.
Does anyone on the committee have questions for Chief McMakin about his report in our packets? Anyone on council?
If I could note one other thing, Captain Lee Perkins retired as of the 10th. We'll actually be doing a little thing for him at council meeting on Thursday night. And we've already filled that slot, so he doesn't start till like the second week in July, I think, but we've already filled that slot, so that's taken care of.
Thank you. You're good. Administrator Herman, anything you'd like to highlight on the building department or municipal court report?
Chair Byers, I would say that there's nothing out of the ordinary. We are holding at a pretty steady low 20,000 in our fees collected. All of this is in residential at this time. We do not have any commercial projects underway. And I don't have anything particular to add to the court report.
Does anyone on the committee have questions about either of these reports? Anyone on council? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Planning and Development Committee Chair James.
I call to order the Planning and Development Committee. Those present are myself, John Campbell, Kelly Byers, Shanice Chris, and Grant Baumgartner. Motion to approve the May 11th, 2026 Planning and Development Committee minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Administrator Herman, do you have a report for the May Planning and Development?
Chair James, I would say that you have Jay's planning report in front of you, so
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to add to that report. I will try to answer any questions you may have.
All right. All right.
We will
Next.
rely heavily on the skill set of each of our team members. He has a skill set in planning.
Okay. I have a motion to approve zoning map amendment TR 26-08 Williams Road from Greenville County unzoned to City of Travelers Rest R15. Do I have a second?
Second.
I will give a brief description. This request is to annex and rezone approximately 8.15 acres on Williams Road into the city of Travelers Rest with an R15 residential zoning designation. This property is currently unzoned and has limited development potential due to the lack of access to gravity sewer service. Sewer availability will be confirmed by Metropolitan Sewer Subdistrict as part of the review process. Staff and Planning Commission both recommended approval. So this is open up for discussion on committee. Does anybody have questions?
Am I correct in that it appears this was kind of a donut hole? That did we have, is TR all around this and it wasn't, and this was inside, almost in our boundaries, but unzoned county? Is this, am I correct on that, the way I looked at it?
Councilmember Baumgartner, I wouldn't be able to speak to the exact shape of the map, whether it's fully encircled, but it is at least partially encircled. What's at the heart of the matter here is that you've got sort of a split zoning on a single member or a single property owner's property. So a portion of it is in the city and a portion of it is not in the city. And so this is looking to resolve that so that the entire parcel comes into the city at the property owner's request.
That makes sense, thank you.
Other questions? I did have a question about the note that sewer availability will be confirmed. Is that in question?
Chair James, so because the city sold the sewer system to Metro Connects a few years back, we don't have any say in that. So the property applicant would then work with Metro Connects, and Metro Connects would make a decision as to whether they would run sewer there or not. And then if they did not run the sewer there, then the applicant would be able to be on septic tank coming into the city. But if they did run the sewers, if they elected that they would run, the applicant would be required to connect to the sewer, is my
Okay.
understanding of
So
that.
what I'm hearing is if they deem that they can run it, then the applicant will need to connect to sewer.
That is my
And that's
understanding.
our zoning ordinance, R15.
That is my understanding.
Do we know the intent to develop the other adjacent property?
I believe it is in standing with the same residential zoning lot allowance, which is a much lower density than it currently sits at in the county. So currently, it's applicable for up to 6,000 square foot lots, and our ordinance would put it at 15,000 square foot lots, much larger, more than double.
But our vote is just simply on the zoning, changing the zoning of this and bringing it all into one central zoning within the city.
So the vote is for the annexation, and it will be zoned per the request for the annexation at, is it R10? R15, sorry, I was trying to look back here. And so it comes in with a zoning. If you were to approve the annexation, it comes in as a zoned parcel. It has conditions, and the conditions are simply to be subject to all applicable requirements of the City of Travelers Rest zoning ordinance, as well as other all applicable ordinances. So essentially, you're bringing it into the city, and it is being held to all city standards in the zoning code
So
at the R15.
I did have questions about this sewer. I know that the gravity sewer is not available, or at least it appears that way on one side of the property, but when those two properties are combined, is there sewer available on the other side?
My understanding is that currently the sewer is not available on the other side. But I could be wrong on that. That would be a better question for Jay.
We can ask Jay, okay. And Jay will be here on Thursday, so just for everyone.
There is a note here that says staff understands that sewer is not available to subject property. So,
Okay.
And I know you weren't here when we made these decisions, Shannon, but am I remembering correctly that part of the sale agreement to Metro was that anytime someone wanted to tap into their system that was touching city property, the first order of business was coming to see if we would annex them or not?
that would be a typical agreement. That sounds in alignment without reading the ins and outs. That would be typical.
And I see that there was a neighborhood meeting that was advertised. I don't see any details about who, if it was attended or if there were comments at the meeting.
I don't have that in front of me. I don't believe I have that information in front of me.
So we can ask Jay that question on Thursday.
We can, and we can follow up with you, but prior to that, we can follow up tomorrow with an email.
Any other questions on committee? Okay. All in favor of pushing this forward to full council for consideration? All right, next I have a motion to approve zoning map amendment TR 26-09, 501 North Main Street from C2 to R10. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a brief description. The property is currently zoned C2 and has been used for office and service-oriented businesses in recent years. The required public hearing was advertised and signage was posted on the property in accordance with city requirements. Staff and Planning Commission both recommended approval. Do I have any questions? Okay.
Again, I know that there was a neighborhood meeting. Curious if you know if it was attended or if there was feedback.
Councilmember Byers, I will say this property owner is with us, so did you have attendance at your meeting? I think you could just answer whether you had attendance at your meeting. It's not really a public comment section unless council had further questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from committee? All right, hearing none, all in favor to move this forward to full council? Okay. Does anyone on committee have any further questions for planning? Anyone on council? All right, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right.
Thank you, Catherine. Ways and Means Committee Chair Baumgartner.
All right, call the Ways and Means Committee to order. Myself, Sherry Mara, Lisa Lane, Kelly Byers, and Catherine James are all present. Do I hear a motion to approve the May 11 Ways and Means Committee minutes?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, so moving on to letter C, resolution to approve the cooperative agreement between Greenville County and the municipality of Travelers Rest. I make a motion to approve the cooperation agreement between Greenville County and the municipality of Travelers Rest. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Brief description of this. This resolution approves the cooperative agreement between Greenville County and the city of Travelers Rest to maintain urban county status with HUD, allowing continued eligibility for CDBG, home funds, and ESG grant funding. It also appoints the Greenville County Redevelopment Authority as the agent to administer any funds received through the program. This is actually a state, it is a, no, it is. This is a state requirement that's coming from the state for us to be approved through the county. This is a normal process that we go through every few years, and it's just before us again to do that. Does anybody on the committee have any questions concerning this cooperative agreement? All right, anybody off of committee have any questions? All right, hearing none, those in favor to go ahead and send this on to full council, please. All right, we've got us all. Thank you. Item D, motion to approve the ATAX committee grant recommendations. I make that motion. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Thank you. Description is the ATAX committee has recommended funding for projects listed in our packet. Those, you both see what was asked for. Not everybody got everything that they wanted, to include a couple that were completely denied for reasons that did not fit within the authority that the committee has to grant such requests. And I say that because this is a state committee. This is not our local accommodations. These are the tax funds that come from and are gathered by the state and are then sent back to us. This year, it's my understanding we're recommending approval, or the committee has recommended approval of $90,000. That is not the full, Ms. Carson, I'm going to ask you, I don't believe that's not the full amount that is in the fund, because we generally keep just a little bit on a just-in-case basis also, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Just a little bit.
So we've got a little bit left in there, and correct me also if I'm incorrect, that this comes in quarterly payments also, and we still have one quarterly payment that we have not been sent.
Right, we're waiting on one more.
So this $90,000, though, even though we're spending all of that, that is not the entire amount. The rest of it will be rolled over into next year's amount. And again, this is governed by the state. State law actually made us form this committee to recommend how this money is actually spent. So that being all said, I'm going to open this up to all of council. Does anybody on council have questions that they would like to ask about the ATAX recommended amounts to?
I have a question, since this is my first rodeo at this. Obviously, there's some that were fully funded and some that were not, and I don't necessarily need particulars about that, but just in general, is there certain parameters? Like, is it not fully funded because it needs to meet certain parameters that are outlined by that committee specifically?
That's a great question, and that's why I'm saying the state actually is the one who defines how we spend this money. As it is written on there are a couple, one of them that was not aimed at tourists. Well, it has to be tourist-driven to be funded. The second one is outside of the city limits. We're not going to fund anything that's outside of our city limits. So those are two parameters that are set up by the state in how this money is actually spent. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good question. Other questions or comments?
I recognize almost everything on this list except one. So far, sounds. Does anybody know what that is?
Yes. It is a organization that, the best I understand it, is they're music focused. So I'm not sure if it's like an organization that then works with festivals to bring in musicians, or I'm not sure particularly, but I know that originally they started off as, they'd host pop-up shows. People could request to have them come to their backyard, or to I saw one of their shows in the hangar in the downtown airport. So they bring in musicians and, bring in an audience for them. So I don't know if that's changed or not, but that is my familiarity with them.
I've been to one. I think it started in Great Britain, and so there's different chapters all throughout the United States. And they, I think once a month, do like a pop-up location where you don't know who the artists are, and you go ahead and pay, and then they email you the location, and then you go and.
So I assume that would
I think they do
be
different locations.
in Travelers Rest.
So they probably will have one in Travelers Rest, I'm assuming, at some location here is what I'm assuming that would be for.
Thank you.
But it's local musician, like the one I went to, they had a couple from Columbia and that came here and stuff, so. But it's local, small, independent.
And what is Heritage Fire?
Councilmember Byers, that is a new, it's a pretty interesting concept coming to town. So it is a shared event between the city of Greenville and the city of Travelers Rest, where celebrity chefs will come in and cook over a campfire. And then they go to the finale. So it's a 2-day event, and the finale will be held here at Trailblazer Park. And so they cook over campfires. It's a early March event. So we were pretty excited on the city staff side, as well as the accommodations tax committee that you appoint was pretty excited that this is what we consider a shoulder season, where we don't have our typical tourism in town. So they were looking for places to stay. hotel accommodations for 90 people with a kitchen, and I don't think we were able to accommodate that, but they still chose us, and they're going to travel up from Greenville. They're going to stay in Greenville and then come up for the finale here. And they really liked Trailblazer Park for the finale production here. The rest of it will happen in Falls Park and City of Greenville.
Something very new and different.
Very different.
Any other questions? All right, those in favor on committee to send this on to full council are unanimous. Thank you for that. All right, Miss Wendy, hello. Glad to see you here. Miss Wendy Lynham with Visit Travelers Rest. She has an update on the inaugural year and will present a proposed budget for next year. Now, let me explain that he is part of the money that comes from the state has to be spent on not only tourism, but marketing. And we appointed Wendy this last year to do our marketing for all of that. So the money that comes through the ATAX committee, she's getting to spend all of that for tourism marketing. Thank you, ma'am, for doing that.
You're welcome. I kind of do it anyway for my other businesses that are tourism related, so what's one more? So if you're ready for me to begin, I made a presentation just recapping where we're at. Visit Greenville was very helpful in giving us a snapshot of where Travelers Rest is currently in 2025, and we had a bit of a dip year. I think a lot of those numbers are because we had a real boost from the hurricane at the end of 24 into 25, and then I think we did drop below 2023 tourism numbers, so there is something to work on, definitely. But tourism is a big opportunity, and we're talking about overnight stays when we're saying tourism. Yes, we do love visitors, but our concentration at Visit TR is overnight stays. So currently visitors are contributing for $31 million in sales tax dollars in Travelers Rest. We'll do a slide further on in the presentation with our goals for where we want the growth in overnight stays. But it is a very big economic opportunity here in Travelers Rest. And we're working with hotels and our new initiative, short-term rentals, to really present why you would stay in TR, give different packages, that type of thing. So it's not just a side project, it's a really big part of the economic development of Travelers Rest. Bringing in fire events, like that is a very big deal for Travelers Rest that we attracted that type of an event, and we hope to attract more of them. I don't know if any of you saw, but Travelers Rest was featured on Top Chef. So I guess we are kind of, becoming known as a culinary destination. So let's take that and run with it, as well as
whose restaurant was that?
I don't
at?
know. Going down the street. But like cycling definitely has been a theme here, but maybe now, culinary, we have a great farmers market, can be another opportunity for us. So we're looking for those opportunities, and we want those people who reach out to feel like we can accommodate their requests. Okay. Let's go. So I briefly mentioned where we are today. This is the hotel snapshot. We're at 60% occupancy. We're down almost 12% from last year. The ADR, the average daily rate, has gone up a little bit, but I think we can all agree that $87.60 for a night's stay in a hotel leaves a lot to be desired, and it's hard to run a business. So we just need higher perceived value, and we need more, I think, packages to put out to the people within driving distance. Like, this is a great spot for you to spend a weekend or a couple days during the week cycling. And those are the messages, those are the drums that we're beating in our marketing for Visit Travelers Rest. Okay. So then we have a very interesting slide here. So hotels are down 11%, almost 12%, but our short-term rental growth has increased. So people desire to stay in Travelers Rest. If we're seeing a growth in the short-term rental, they almost exactly took away the growth at the hotels. So anyway, I think it's a problem, not a bad problem. I think it's a good problem. I think the short-term rentals are our largest hotel in Travelers Rest. So a big initiative this year is to use software to identify those short-term rental hosts, reach out to them, make sure they understand how to properly get licensed with the city and how to report their accommodations tax, because they also should be paying into it, especially if they're taking business away from the hotels. So we're going to try to make that right by encouraging them to sign up properly in return for promotion on our social channels and our website. So I'm going to be working with Renee just to make sure that the people we're promoting are licensed correctly, and then we'll also probably work on some messaging to the hosts how to do it correctly. Maybe they just don't know, and that could be. So we're going to be working with software called AirDNA. There's a tourism branch of that will allow us to see where they are and get data on tourism through short-term rentals. So that's going to be a part of our budget this year, and we'll tell you more about what our ask is. What we built in the year, I'll let you just look at this at some point. You know, it was year one, so I'm not saying, wow, we did, you know, all these things. But we built an audience, and it's growing. What we focused on was social media, building an email list, and we did that. There's room for more growth. We think video is going to be a big part of that, and I'll share our current campaign with you at the end. Okay. So we did things like work with the station and Topsoil to do a giveaway. That was our best piece of content. We all got followers from that. We got 15,000 eyes on Visit TR. It was a good giveaway. So I talked with the chamber members last week, and we've had a lot of interest in doing more collaborations with local businesses that have a lodging component and a restaurant, and just showing why you would want to stay in Travelers Rest for several nights. The big things that people are searching for is cycling and the rabbit exhibit and events that are going on, and the city does a great job of promoting their events, and the Beyond the Borough art exhibit is exciting and here for a limited time, as far as what I understand. So our promotion this summer is geared towards that. So I think I've pretty much run through all of these strategies, but I think going more for private events, places to stay for groups like girls' weekends, wedding weekends, family weekends, I think the Dicey weekend will be a really good, case study as far as when we build events, who comes and how long do they stay and how much sales revenue does that bring to TR. So I think with an eye on more organized events, things like that, things that are really, you can only do in Travelers Rest, that will attract more visitors. Our goal is to increase lodging to 75 to 80%. Right now we're around 60, so a 15% increase, and increase tax revenue, sales tax revenue from visitors by about $10 million. I think this will take 3 to 5 years, so that is where we're headed. We had good growth since 2019. There was like a 52% growth in sales tax since 2019. So I think if we project another 5 years, we could definitely hit our goals. But in the next 3 years, we really want to get occupancy up to 75 to 80%. That's a healthy occupancy level for a city. So here's our priorities. I've mentioned them before. It's just everything I've talked about. One of our budget asks, and I'll show you that budget. I don't know if we're going to actually show the budget. It's a pretty small budget, so there's like 3 things on there. One of them being funding the AirDNA software, which is $2,500 a year. Another, we would like to create an evergreen Travelers Rest video, just a really well-done video, 3 to 5 minutes that we can share with stakeholders, with businesses, so we all can just project that message out into the world on all of our channels. And then we want to put some money behind that video and just promote it online. I think showing people what it's like to be here, all the reasons you would want to stay here, is the clearest way to get our message across. And then we have just our standard operating expenses. So we're working with the $22,000 budget next year. And I think those 2 items, the video and the AirDNA subscription, are good spends for us. It's a different approach. It's not just doing the same thing. It's very directed. And I just think that will maximize the money that we have to use for marketing. All right, this is our latest brochure slash promotion. It's going to run this summer through Labor Day, and it gets all the businesses involved. That was our fall promotion, Ride, Hike, Refuel, Stay. This is our summer promotion, Hop into TR. And this engages families, I don't know, pub crawls, like there's many different ways that you could use this. It's a brochure. We have 12 different pickup locations around town and also on our website. You basically follow the map through town to find the rabbits. There is a QR code that you scan on the back. Once you scan that QR code, it essentially pulls you into an app where it tells you where the rabbits are. You can check them off. And once you've found all 6 rabbits, you can go to a participating business, and like I said, there are 12 of them on Main Street, and you get your I Hopped into TR sticker, and you're entered to win a 2-night staycation or vacation in Travelers Rest. We have a lot of the local businesses donating night stays, restaurants, stores, so it's just to be a fun way to like explore TR this summer and then culminate in the giveaway for the 2-night stay. So that's all I have. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Wendy, thank you. This is a great amount of information, and thank you for taking the time. It's nice to have someone local promoting local. We didn't used to be able to do this before. We were going to Greenville to try to promote Travelers Rest, so it's nice to have you right here to be able to do that. Does anybody on council have any questions or comments for Wendy right now?
Wendy, I was going to ask you, so I know you're working on, you mentioned finding like Airbnbs in the area. Do we have an idea of like event spaces available in TR? Meaning if we want to open it up and promote gatherings, do we have an idea of event spaces here?
We do have an inventory. There are a lot of new ones coming on right now. I've just learned of 3 new event spaces.
Okay.
So we currently are promoting the ones we know of, and we'll add the other ones. There is a space on or a page on the website. It's either, I don't know, an experience or a page on our website that lists the different event sites.
The website being
Visit travelersrest.com, yeah.
Okay.
My question kind of goes along with that. What do you think is the cap of an event to get them to stay in hotels? So, for example, if we had, is it 20 people to come and stay in a hotel and experience TR for like groups, or is it 50 for capacity here? So like, for example, I'm having a bunch of mayors come in September, and we pretty much took over the Hampton Inn.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. And it was like a max of, I don't know, maybe it was 40 was kind of the most. So I'm just curious, what is that sweet spot? Because we don't have a large meeting space and we don't have a large hotel to take in 200 people. So I'm just kind of thinking through what is the sweet spot that we want to market to.
Well, I think Hampton Inn is probably the largest
Yeah.
with 60 rooms. And if, I don't know, I mean, if everyone wants to stay in the same space, then you're limited to 60 rooms.
Yeah, okay.
If you want
That's
to
what I'm thinking
spread
of,
it
like a
out.
conference, yeah.
Yeah, for a conference. But weddings, like wedding weekends, that's a different story. So the wedding party could stay in, you know, an Airbnb, or I just rebought the Swamp Rabbit Inn, the station, you know,
Spread them out.
spread them out. Yeah, and have a block of rooms at the Hampton Inn. I think total we have 120 hotel rooms with the Best Western, the station, Swamp Rabbit Inn, like just classified hotel rooms.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, we have at least that many with short-term rentals. It's hard to market that.
That's what I was saying, it's not like we're Greenville and we're trying to get, you know, blah, blah conference. It's like, well, I like the idea of the girls' weekend, because if there was 10 of us, that'd be perfect, because you all stay together. I'm just trying to think through that.
I think a sweet spot for us, and I'm really going to go after this type of business, is the cycling groups. If you can accommodate 20 singles, Trek Travel is available, Backroads Travel, and they're coming through here weekly with ride camps. They're riding through Travelers Rest. Why not get them to stay? So
They actually
that's
want to ride from Travelers Rest up
It's
into the mountains, so that's a perfect.
the best place to start instead of having to ride up the trail every day. Yeah. And we have enough restaurants here to be able to
Really selling
accommodate.
them an experience of come stay here, ride, go up to the mountains, come back, have dinner. Okay.
Yeah, and they already curate the experience. Trek Travel, Backroads Travel, they have ride camps, and they have the whole 5 days, I think it is, planned. But they're staying at the Embassy Suites downtown. They used to stay at the Westin. They're riding up the trail every day, or they're trucking the bikes up here. If they just made this their base camp, it would make a lot of sense. So I think just having the confidence in the properties that really can accommodate their needs, and communicating that with, say, the Hampton Inn, or, you know, other properties that can accommodate their needs, and then really making that pitch to stay in Travelers Rest.
Smart.
Yeah.
How confident are you in this 56 short-term rental number?
Very confident.
That-
It's from Visit Greenville, and I've confirmed it on AirDNA. I counted 40 at least within the city limits.
It's low.
Within the city limits, I think 40 to 60 is reasonable.
I don't know anything about AirDNA. Do they look at all the different platforms?
I think it's not all the different, I think it's the main ones, Airbnb and VRBO. Maybe Booking.com. I don't know. I haven't,
We have a lot that are flying under the radar, a lot more than that.
that's a pretty significant amount, though. Only 15 are licensed.
Hmm.
So
We got a
only
gap.
15 are licensed right now. I checked with Renee. So I think just making sure everybody knows how to license correctly and what the rules are is the place to start, just from a friendly standpoint. And if you're licensed correctly with the city, then we can promote you.
This
It's
is
a-
anecdotal, but I'm noticing that people are coming here and staying longer in an Airbnb. So they're not going to a hotel for like 2 weeks. They're coming and staying like a week or two with their dog or visiting grandkids. And so it seems like they're
Yeah.
hanging around a little bit longer, which is great, but they're wanting an Airbnb, not a hotel.
Absolutely.
And they have dogs.
Both are great because we need rooms. I mean,
Yeah.
so I think we're happy to have
Spread it around.
both. And they do serve different needs and different visitors. So I think if we're going to promote them, though, they should contribute to the pool. So
100%.
Well, they need to contribute to Travelers Rest. They're in Travelers Rest, we need to get them, and I appreciate you working with Renee. John, this is, if they've identified 40 and there's only 15 on the books, that's a whole lot further than we were just a couple years ago when we didn't even have a 40 number. We had in the single digits almost, so.
I was out of my house for the hurricane. Our house was being fixed, and we were in an apartment, and there was all around us were people coming and going. And I ended up talking with a lot of the people, and they were short-term rentals. And they weren't allowed to be short-term rentals because of the apartment. The apartment did not allow that.
Yeah, I think the
They were.
hurricane was a different scenario. I think really people just made it work.
Yeah.
But I think day to day, it's not a bad thing. I mean, we don't have a lot of hotel rooms. It's a great thing that we have a lot of short-term rentals.
Just need them all to play by the same rules.
It's just a contribution, like you shouldn't be taking business away from the hotels and you're not paying accommodations tax. It's just a pretty simple.
Thank you for working with Renee on that. And I did have a question also. I'm assuming that that the brochure, that you are working in cooperation with the chamber also with all of that.
We presented to the chamber. I wasn't working in cooperation with them, but we presented last Monday, Tuesday at their meeting and had samples of the brochures. And I've talked with several people after we presented, so we need to add more of the businesses to the map.
Well,
It's
and
an
that's kind of working in cooperation with them, not completely, but I understand what you're saying. So we're stretched out to reach them.
Yes. So,
Wendy,
All right.
do you have a sample of the brochure for us to
Yeah.
get?
would you each like one? I
Yes,
did
please.
bring it up.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Can we get the presentation sent to us?
It'll go out in the minutes.
Are
Thanks,
we
Wendy.
voting?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Wendy.
You have
Appreciate
something you
it.
wanted to say?
Yeah, Councilmember Lane, thank you. I would just comment on two things. So Wendy has a great carrot for the short-term rentals, and we're building in a stick. We're getting ready to hire a part-time codes official. And so one of the things that our codes enforcement agent would do, and we have already identified this, hours per week to go towards this, because this is probably the lowest hanging fruit in additional revenues owed to the city that are not coming in. So Renee's done a really great job getting our business licensure into place, and this is kind of the next step forward on that. And additionally, I'd like to thank Wendy for a great collaboration with the city staff as well as the Chamber of Commerce. As you know, we've really brought on an intern this year to study economic development and how can we be more beneficial to our businesses on the whole. Obviously, tourism is a large component of our economy here, measuring up to 40% of our participation in sales in Travelers Rest, which I think is a really key number for us to think about. And we have obviously tourists who spend the night here and visitors. We have a very high visitor rate here. But getting that tourism rate is repeat visitors. A lot of them do turn into residents later on because they fall in love with it. But Wendy has gone above and beyond to work with Beth as on our website, collaborating on our projects here, and additionally getting in front of the Chamber of Commerce. And our meeting on Tuesday was probably the best Chamber of Commerce meeting I've been to yet in terms of business collaboration, and the businesses they're growing membership really well right now, and those businesses were very eager to sit with Wendy and participate, learn how to participate in some of these identification opportunities here. So I think we're seeing some synergy really build, and I'm really thrilled with what's going on here from the city's revenue perspective. One other thing that I'd throw out there is that everything we do in a budget for the state tourism is last year's revenues. So we know that we have the $90,000. We know that we have the $22,000. We're bringing in this year's, and we are a little lower. So next year, we'll likely bring you a little lower spend for the tourism promotion and projects going forward. But we know that we have this money in hand. You have 2 years to spend that money each year. So it goes in arrears.
I'd also just like to add that the enforcement of, people being registered is also a matter of safety to make sure that their homes are up to code.
We agree.
And safe for our residents.
Every Airbnb needs Mac to come to their house and check on them. That's right, they need Carter.
Wendy, I appreciate your perspective about to educate everybody, because I think, as we all know, this is a new format that has grown multiple times. So I think that's part of the link, is to reach out in the right way. So I appreciate that.
Okay, the ATAX committee recommended approval of Visit Travelers Rest receiving this year's state ATAX money for tourism and promotion funding. Therefore, I make a motion to send to full council the approval of the DMO Visit Travelers Rest to use the 30% state A-tax allocation for tourism promotion with a budget of $22,160 as Wendy presented. That is my motion. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
I'm just curious what it was last year.
About the same. We brought in 2 years in a row about the same revenue. It'll be slightly less next year.
You've got to remember, the budget for this is based on the overall amount that comes in each year. That amount fluctuates. And in some years, Carson and I were looking earlier today, some years that fluctuates dramatically. This year's been a good year.
Councilmember Byers, Carson did remind me that we had a couple years of unexpended tourism promotion dollars. So last year it was a total of $80,000. The collections were similar in values, but we had unexpended funds that we were able to roll forward and get the project up and running off the ground. And we did have permission from the state to expend those unexpended funds in this regard.
I'm curious what the budget for spending was last year.
Well, with the
Like,
receipt of
what we
revenues are
paid-
similar,
for
so.
Wendy?
For Visit Travelers Rest, what our budget was.
What was it, it was close to $80,000.
For Wendy's.
No. This year it's 22. Last year,
Last year, she received 80,000, but it was because we had 2 years prior that were unexpended. So it was a number of years accumulated
Okay.
together. But the amount would have been close to the 22 figure. We came in very similar this year to last year.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, we had to go to the state
We did.
and ask them permission to expend money that we had kept a little longer than we were supposed to.
We did because we were beyond the 2-year typical threshold.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor on committee to send this on to full council? Are you unanimous on that? Thank you. Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks, Wendy.
All right, now I also have a motion to approve the PARD grant application before us. Do I have a second for that?
second.
Thank you. Okay. Miss Shannon, I'm going to allow you to expand a little bit on this, please.
Thank you, Chair Baumgartner. We had an opportunity presented to us yesterday, midday, that we're going to act quickly on. So the timing was great. We were able to work it into your meeting today. There is additional PARD funding left in the fiscal year that we believe we would be eligible to apply for. We are going to put in application for the amount that is available of $204,000. We did have to have a project that we were ready to apply with right away that could meet this. It is a 20% match, which would be about $40,000 on the city side for the match. And we have identified the poured-in-place rubber matting that just went in today on the fitness court to do that at Adventure Park here at Trailblazer Park. That if we were to be successful in this, while it is not our top priority, it is a project that we could move on immediately. It does increase ADA accessibility to the park. Wheelchairs can traverse this matting where they cannot on the sponge mulch that exists currently. It would be a maintenance reduction. We believe it would be a great improvement. We can make sure we maintain the color palette that was very, very carefully selected. The city did, for those who are newer to council, the city did participate in the funding of the building of that park, but it was the county's park until it transferred to us in November. It is now our responsibility. So we identified this as a great opportunity for this one-time grant potential. It does require the sign-off of state representatives in a weighted format. It's a complicated weighted format. So we are working on that and working with the state to confirm that they do have the funds available in the remaining of the fiscal year.
Even though the state representatives have to sign off on this, this is actually a request from the county, correct, or a grant from the county?
Well, the PARD grants are funded through the state, and typically they go through the county with an allotment amount. So we believe that there is an amount that's left in the state pot that is available for application, and that would be the difference. And that will be confirmed tomorrow. The application is also due tomorrow. So it was a very quick turnaround on city staff side, and I want to thank Philip and Erica for very fast work on this. And if we're able to be successful, we think we could have a great project. You know, it's a grant opportunity. We may not be successful.
Philip, thank you for paying attention to what we have out there to even come up with something this quick. That's absolutely awesome. So that everybody on council understands also, there is a $40,000 match to this, but we already have, Shannon's got the money available. We know where it's coming from. It is not a budgeted item, nor is it a budget issue that we have to worry about. So the money is already there. That's taken care of. Anybody on committee or council, either one, have any questions concerning this grant?
I would just say, as part of the process, when we worked with county for the existing Trailblazer Park, they would have loved to have had this as an option, but it's just so expensive. And so that's when they put in the 20 million inches of mulch or whatever it is. But this is definitely a step up and improvement. So if we get it, it's a really great opportunity, and it does just make travel and moving around a lot easier. So it's exciting to have done, if possible.
Any other questions or comments? Right, hearing none. Those on committee willing to send this on to full council, show of hands, please. And we are passing that unanimously also. All right, that ends my committee. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Old business, we have none. New business, we have none. Miscellaneous matters. Shannon Herman, got anything for us?
Mayor Emmadon, I just would like to remind the community that we do have our TR 250 Dicey Langston weekend upcoming, the 26th and 27th, which is next weekend already. Not this weekend approaching, but the one after. And we will have a staff potluck prior to the concert to take place on Saturday night. Thank you to council for stepping up and organizing that, while staff is very busy getting the park ready for hopefully thousands of visitors. We are very excited about the drone show. Beth and I will get a sneak peek. We get one proofread of the actual event coming through this week. We will get that, and we will have 24 hours to turn around any corrections to that, and then it will go in the sky live. So we are anticipating several hundred visitors throughout the day. On Friday, we have worked very closely through Beth, through Jessica, our intern, through the chamber, through Wendy, to reach out to every business to say, would you like to participate in that? We have programs that are going out in the businesses, printed programs with all the events throughout the weekend, to include the symphony playing on Saturday, some of the deals that are available throughout the stores. Merchants are still able to submit if they want to participate with deals. They'll go on a QR code. It won't be in the printed program. Those are already printed, but they can still participate, and we can add to the QR code up to the weekend. So thank you very much to the city. We have high hopes for this weekend, and we will be paying a lot of attention and learning any lessons we can from it. Additionally, I wanted to point out to the community, we have support services through the county. Greenville County Emergency Management will attend the event and bring their mobile command unit. This gives us excellent public safety coverage. They've been working with Philip and our emergency management team here. We have radio channel, event channel assignments already in place. This is a huge sophistication going forward, so we're really grateful for that support. And Greenville County EMS will be staffing the event as well, so we will have medical services, so our firefighters won't have to just do first aid. We'll have, be able to have transport units ready to go if necessary. We've learned from last year's traffic planning, but please be patient to leave the park. Enjoy sitting around and talking with your friends for a little bit of time. We will have routes identified to be as effective as possible, but there's a lot of cars that are going to come in over time and all be ready to leave at the same time. So we've also asked the food trucks to turn off their generators for the performance, and we've placed speakers throughout the top field as well, which will be available for seating so that everyone can hear the storyline. So we have great hopes, and we will look back forward to any feedback, and we will have after action reviews to incorporate them for future events. That's my report for tonight.
I'd just like to say too, I think our city staff does a great job of learning lessons from that was the first time we had ever done a drone show, and Beth was worried we had too many people out there, and so it's just nice knowing that you guys are being so proactive, because I think we'll have more people than we had last year, so thank you for that. I would also like to, I know Shannon mentioned it, but thank her for speaking at the chamber event. Heard good things about that and talking about all the projects that we have going on, which are very, very many, so thank you for representing the city. All right, does anyone on council have anything for the good of council?
I just wanted to publicly thank Brady coming in and doing a security. I learned something, not thinking about certain things, so it was very helpful. And he is here in TR on Main Street, so I just want to thank him for doing that project.
Sherry and I had a couple of things we're like, ooh, we probably shouldn't be doing that. But we had probably, I don't know, maybe 15 residents come to learn about scams and internet safety, and it was a really good event.
It was good.
Thank you for Brady for leading that. Anybody else? Motion to adjourn. Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor? All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate you all being here tonight. See ya.